A new movie called TheMatch was released on Netflix on May 7th. If you're watching this many years after, I'm talking about this year, 2025. What is the movie about? Did you really have to ask? It's about Go, of course. Let's go to IMDb and check. It says, the true story of two legendary players of Go, Baduk, Cho Hun-hyeon, and his protege and future rival, Lee Chang-ho. All right, that doesn't tell us much. Let's go and check Wikipedia. Set in the 1980s, 1990s, and based on two real-life notable Go players, the film tells the story of Cho Hun-hyun, a Go champion who discovers a gifted but untrained young boy, Lee Chang-ho, in an amateur contest. He takes him under his wing to turn into a professional player. Conflicts arise when the protege later turns against his teachings. That sounds like it could be any unremarkable, run-of-the-mill Korean drama about something incomprehensible. And even the name, TheMatch, doesn't sound special at all, partly because it's not exactly the right translation of the Korean title, but we'll get back to that. The first big question is, do you need to know the rules of Go to enjoy the movie? TheMatch topped the Korean box office for several weeks straight, but we need to remember that Korea is a Go-playing country. Many people know about the game and about the two legendary Korean Go players shown in the movie, just like we would know about chess and Bobby Fischer, for example. Since the movie is an almost true-to-life depiction of real Go events and tournaments, there will be quite a few technical details that you can only appreciate as a Go player. You don't need to play well, but I think that knowing the rules and basic principles of Go will greatly enhance the experience. So, I'm just going to say it this once. If you're new to this game, then before watching the movie, I highly encourage you to at least watch the rules of Go video on Go Magic here. Now, the movie will mostly focus on the rivalry and on how the student will grow from a child prodigy into a famous Go player. But not much information is given about the teacher. You don't really see how he became a legendary player and why he's still called the Go Emperor in South Korea. So I think we need to fix that. Cho Hun-hyun first stumbled into this big board and stones when he was about 5, still small enough to sit in his father's lap, yet already bold enough to kibitz the grown-ups. By the age of 9 years and 7 months, in 1962, he was a certified professional, a record that still stands in Korea today. Worldwide, only Japan's Ryo Fujita has gone younger, shaving 3 months off the mark in 2022. Japan was the Go capital back then, so any serious talent bought a one-way ticket east. Cho arrived in 1963, and unlike his seniors, who flocked to Kitani Minoru's dojo, he became the live-in student of Segoe Kensaku, a venerable master already in his 70s at the time, whose past student list included Hashimoto Utaro and, oh yes, Go Seigen himself. Life at the teacher's house was not all new knowledge and brilliance. Cho fetched groceries, ran errands, and in a moment of youthful candor, wrote home to complain about the chores-to-go ratio. His father promptly dashed off a letter begging Segoe to work the boy harder. Segoe's reply could hang in a motivational poster. He wrote, "To become a great figure in Go, one must first become a greater human being. Your son's talent may even eclipse Go Seigen's. Please trust in me as a teacher." And trust him they did. Cho spent 9 years under Segoe's roof. And contrary to what you might think, he didn't play that many games against his teacher. In all of those 9 years, they played less than 10 times. So for over-the-board street smarts, he also sparred endlessly with Fujisawa Shuko, equal parts semi-teacher and mischief-loving friend. Cho returned to Korea in 1972 for his mandatory military service, and once out of uniform, began the Cho Hun-hyun era in earnest. His chief domestic rival was So Bong-soo, fictionalized in the movie as Nam Ki-chol A-dan. They met in so many finals, with Cho usually emerging on top. Needless to say, Cho won all of the domestic Go titles, and he even held them all at once several times. The international breakthrough came in 1988 at the inaugural Ing Cup. It was named after a Chinese-Taiwanese millionaire, Go player, and Go promoter Ing Chang-ki, but he deserves a separate video. We'll talk about that some other time. The prize money was great, And as it was supposed to be held once in 4 years, it was nicknamed the Go Olympics. The tournament's invite list was skewed. 5 seats for Japan, 4 for China, 3 for Taiwan, only 2 for Korea, and some remaining crumbs for the West, the US and Australia. Of course, Koreans were outraged. One of Korea's spots went to Japan-based Cho Hun-hyun, the other to Cho Hun-hyun. Cho sliced past Taiwan's Oh Mei-yen, and then he toppled Kobayashi Koichi in the quarterfinals. That was revenge for a loss 4 months earlier. Then he dispatched Rin Kai-ho in the semifinals. And on the other side, China's Ni Weiping was supposed to play against Fujisawa Shuko. Shuko predicted jokingly before this that him and Cho Hun-hyun would see each other in the finals. Unfortunately, that was not supposed to happen. Fujisawa lost, and instead we got Cho versus Ni, a best of 3 stretched across continents, with the deciding Game 5 in Singapore. Cho won the match, the $400,000, and crucially, the world's respect for Korean players. He returned home as a hero, saying in an interview that at that point he felt that he wouldn't even lose to God himself. And that is precisely where the movie begins. The match was actually filmed in 2020 to 2021, but there was a long delay before it's released, and all the Go players have been anticipating it for 5 years. The holdup stemmed from lead actor Yoo Ah-in's drug case, so that could potentially tarnish the reputation of Lee Chang-ho that he portrayed, for example. In the end, the director publicly called dealing with the controversy like a natural disaster, and the movie was finally released, but that's why you can only see one actor, Lee Byung-hun, in all the posters. I have to say, they had to do a lot of meticulous prep work for the movie. A lot of people in Korea who witnessed these events firsthand are still living today, so the director and crew went to great lengths to recreate the atmosphere of Korea in the 80s and 90s. They looked through countless issues of Go magazines, especially because the director isn't really a Go player himself. Professional player experts were hired to make sure that everything looks authentic and also to carefully select those set-piece games that would be shown in the movie. Both main actors spent countless hours learning proper stone placement, how to hold them, how to place them on the board, so that to make sure that everything looks natural. So thanks to that, the accuracy of Go scenes in the movie is quite high. There's some good camera work, especially when shooting Go game scenes. However, I think that the movie's strongest point still lies in acting. Lee Byung-hun is a great actor. You might have seen him in Joint Security Area by Park Chan-wook, I Saw the Devil, even in one of the Terminator movies, or even most recently in Squid Game. He's an amazing choice for the role of Cho Hun-hyun because he really looks like him in the movie. All of his mannerisms, his gestures, the manner of speech, everything. If you're one of the hardcore Go player nerds, then the creators also scattered quite a few little Easter eggs for you to pick up when watching the movie. One of them, for example, is the actual Rose brand cigarettes that Cho Hun-hyun himself smoked. And at that time, in the 80s and 90s, smoking cigarettes was actually allowed in tournament halls. So a lot of professionals, all the top professionals at the time, smoked. This fashion for smoking started to slowly disappear only around the year 2000, when smoking in tournament rooms was finally forbidden. There's one moment in the movie where Cho Hun-hyun is seen in this particular so-called Weiqi posture. It's a recreation of a very famous photograph that a lot of people saw at the time, and so this is a little nod to them. The film also features Cho Hun-hyun's famous motto that momentum is 80% of victory. It means that when you're playing a game and you're attacking, you're holding the initiative, that is already 80% of everything you need. The rest is just technicalities. A lot of the games shown in the movie are actual games played between Cho Hun-hyun and Lee Chang-ho. They were carefully chosen by professional player experts. But unless you're an experienced Go player, it wouldn't be easy to understand what's going on. Not much commentary or explanation is given. And finally, the title of the movie, Seungbu in Korean, which I think is very similar to the Japanese word shobu, which means not just a match or not just competition, But it's a lot more than that. It's also about the big gamble where you put everything at stake. It's about the huge challenge. It's about the contest where everything will be decided. It's a battle where you have to overcome yourself, show true grit, and emerge victorious. And that is the name of this movie. Now, as a final Easter egg, for all the hardcore Go nerds watching this video, I want to show you the problem that Cho Hun-hyun gave to young Lee Chang-ho in the movie. If Lee Chang-ho could solve this problem, Cho Hun-hyun would play another game with him, and maybe even become his teacher. The problem position comes from a joseki that was popular at the time. Black would jump after this pincer, and there was this move, which was really common in the 90s. Black goes through, and white pushes. Now this, if white just responds, black gets a very nice shape. So white plays this one first to put some more aji in the corner. Black connects. Now black needs to somehow kill these two stones. This looks safe, but at that time, this was more common. Some aji remains here. White attaches and cuts. Now, if black takes a stone like this, then white could get one atari, another atari, so black can take it like this. And the question is, what happens here? What is the best next sequence for black? The obvious move is just to capture one stone. But in this case, this atari is sente. Black needs to connect. Now this is also sente. Black needs to take. And this result is fairly even, maybe slightly better for white. So a better move for black is actually to connect here instead of capturing. White connects, and this is a forced sequence. White plays here, atari. Now white covers and gives black an option to just take these stones. But of course, in this case, again, this atari is free and this block is free. So black doesn't want to do it. Black extends here. And the sequence that Lee Chang-ho found and sent to Cho Hun-hyun as his solution was this one. White cuts first. Then captures these four. Now this is black sente. White has to capture them. These stones are dead, but the fight is not over yet, because black can now cut and separate these groups. Atari, black extends, white saves the stones, and next black has a beautiful Tsuji that captures these stones. White finds it very hard to escape. This sequence is incredible, but the actual joseki that was popular at the time is more simple than that. In the joseki, white would just block in the corner, black goes out, and these stones are safe. Now, atari. This is a one-way street. White connects these stones. This is black's sente, threatening, and white needs to capture the four stones, and next, black gets a chance to make an extension on the right side. These stones are safe, these stones are safe, and white has these stones in the center which could still be attacked in the future. This variation is a little bit better for black than the simple one that we saw at the very beginning. And it was put in the movie because for many Go players, sequences like this one feel very nostalgic. They remind them of the times around the 1980s and 1990s when these sequences were actually played in games. And this is exactly what this movie is. It's a quiet board game drama with a nostalgic feel for many people, and you can watch it as a semi-documentary of sorts. So if you're a Go player, but you don't really know much about the rivalry between Cho Hun-hyun and his student Lee Chang-ho, then you should definitely watch this. But if you're expecting action-packed sequences, fighting, and blood spilled over the Go board, then maybe you should watch the Divine Move instead. And if you want a review of that movie, leave your comments under this video. And as always, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next videos. This is Go Magic.